How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys welcome back to Patterson Properties. Hopefully you guys having a great day. Lord have mercy, got to catch myself. Anyways, with the new, there's a migration that's been happening for a while, but I think because of the pandemic, it's actually intensified. And that's the new migration of Americans and Westerners as a whole going to Central, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, because of it's becoming more of the norm of the idea of retirement for working people in Western countries. My feeling is might be coming to an end within the next 10 years, definitely. It's already starting to happen now, but I think if the cost of living continuously to increases the way that it is, regardless of who's sitting in the White House, governor's house, and mayor's house, I truly do believe that it's going to be very normal. I'm going to go into it, but it's going to be very normal for Westerners from Australia to America to Canada, all over Western Europe, to retire in quote unquote third world countries, as they call the expat communities. All right. Because with the 2020 pandemic, there's just been a very big migration of Americans, leaving the West Coast, the Northeast, moving to the Deep South, some parts of the Midwest, some parts of Middle America, but mostly just Deep South and Southwest, different parts of the United States. But the talk of growing expat communities, meaning Westerners moving to third world countries, is growing. And for the most part, these communities have been growing at a very fast pace because the idea of retirement, and like I said, in America and the rest of the Western world, it's just becoming a thing of the past. Like I said, given another 10 years, I could be wrong. 10 years from now, if I'm wrong, then so be it. But that's just my gut feeling on this. With the cost of living growing at an extreme rate, i.e. real estate, definitely today, real estate, gas, food, etc. So places like Mexico is becoming very, very appealing to retirees and remote workers and online entrepreneurs. The majority of expats do not move to these foreign countries to find a job. No, they move there for different experiences and low cost of living. So according to the article that I read today, the Good Guess Collective was started over the summer by Ben Kay, who's a Phoenix, Arizona native, who moved full-time to Mexico City with his Canadian partner in January 2019, so obviously a year before the pandemic. Ben is a self-described guest of the city, and his partner are among a fortunate class of people who were able to work from almost anywhere in the world, even prior to the pandemic. Remember, the whole remote worker thing is not that new. And that's why it was very successful for a lot of corporations, because the infrastructure for a lot of organizations was already there. Now, other organizations had to build the IT infrastructure to ensure that they could do this. But most people, this is already happening. It's like me, think about it, kids coming out of, or people, young adults coming out of high school, college, and the military, or whatever service, merchant marines, whatever service that they might have been working in or capacity they were in. The idea of working remotely has been a very beautiful thing, because people want to be able to have the opportunity to live where they want to live. And they don't want a thing like a job to have to slow them down from doing that. Because I'm from the DMV area. The majority of the time, people's job is the main reason why they live here. It's not because they specifically want to live here. It's because of their job. If they could live in Tennessee or Texas or Florida, Arizona, or a foreign country, they probably wouldn't mind doing that. But it's usually always a job that holds people back from living in the areas that they really want to live in. Trust me, I know this. I've experienced this, still experiencing it. But anyways, I digress. It's very, very interesting when you think about this. So, and they started considering moving abroad because, like, Ben's partner, who had a U.S. visa, the visa was actually set to expire, and eventually opted for a Mexican capital, Mexico City, compared with other places. Moving to Mexico City as a remote worker is fairly easy. Mexico allows citizens of more than 70 countries, including the United States, to stay up to 6 months without a visa. If they wish to extend their stay, visitors just need to exit the country and re-enter, even if it might be just for a few hours. These types of visa runs are perfectly legal, according to Elan Gonzalez, an immigration lawyer with specialized knowledge of these kinds of travelers. As long as, before I go forward, remember, immigration in every country is a business. It's all about money and rules and regulations, sometimes favoritism in every country. As long as travelers do not earn income from sources in Mexico, they are allowed to re-enter the country. And that's another thing. As long as the income is earned from other sources outside of Mexico, meaning it's not taken actual jobs away from locals, then it makes it easier for them to re-enter the country. But now with this, because obviously, and I would imagine, I did not do the research, but I would imagine if you made money from, if your employer was actually in Mexico, then obviously the rules, would differ and whatnot. And I'm sure that is how it is in every country, when it comes to their immigration policies. Now with this, the opportunities for expats, or for better or worse, will assimilate into Mexico City and the surrounding areas. So with that being said, with international dollars roaming around Mexico City, this can translate to purchasing real estate, owning businesses, and or so on and so forth. So I could definitely see more real estate owned for foreigners, because the cost of real estate in Mexico City is definitely much cheaper than Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Washington, D.C. And also what's attract expats to Mexico City is that during the pandemic lockdown, unlike most countries, we're on lockdown, but Mexico was open and welcoming people to keep their economy going. But just like in the United States, the influx of expats to Mexico City is creating a housing problem for locals and is pushing more locals to the outskirts of Mexico City. The article stated that just like you see people, the influx of Californians to Texas and Florida, New Yorkers down to Texas, Florida, and Georgia, it actually intensified the cost of living with the real estate in those areas. The Metro Atlanta, most people can't afford to live in Metro Atlanta anymore. Everybody has to live on the outskirts. Same thing as in Miami, same thing is happening in Dallas, Houston, Austin, Texas, definitely. So these things matter, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, an influx of people is always going to affect an economy. I don't care what country you're in, what state you're in, what city you're in. It's just how it goes, all right? But anyways, excuse me. The article stated that real estate companies that buy historic buildings, refurbish them, and sell them for a profit act like an executive from executive arm of Airbnb, stated Sergio Gonzalez, leader of the activist group and neighborhood association Plataforma Vecinal. He pointed out that an increase in demand for short-term rentals purchased largely by those groups has prompted real estate companies to sell their properties by advertising rental management services to future owners. Also, the article ended on a good note, stating that both locals and foreign temporary residents brought up an influx of people from different countries and backgrounds would seem beneficial to the city, which was a statement that was made by an official in Mexico City. But one gentleman said that Mexico City has become more attractive to individuals in the tech and cryptocurrency scene, which is always good for local businesses, could benefit from further investments like that. In just over a year, Mexico has seen the birth of its first 5 unicorns, privately held startup companies valued at more than $1 billion, thanks in part to international funding. And that's just another thing. When people are so much more successful making money via an investment tool vehicle like a cryptocurrency, making money trading stocks, making money creating content, just making money, being a remote worker and whatnot, other states, cities, and countries benefit from this. And that's the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. Other states, cities, and other countries benefit from this from a real estate perspective, whether somebody's leasing, renting, or owning a property, from people pouring international dollars into an economy, or even people, heck, you think about Texas economy and Florida's economy and Georgia's economy and whatnot. They've, with the massive influx of people, now might have drawn housing prices up, but it's brought more tax dollars to their cities, and then obviously more workers to their cities, and then obviously more people who are going to pay rent and buy real estate. So, and then people who are going to open businesses at the same time. So these are things to think of. It's like it's all encompassing at the end of the day. So I thought it was interesting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Do the great 3 free things: like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great day. And as I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live, bro, like a fool. Take care.